Jonathan Frid, what can I say? I wish he'd bitten me more. I never got to be fully under his powers. But he was a real gentleman and very nice to act with. And it was very interesting, if I recall, his character was meant to be a lot more sinister when he came on the show. But I think his innate sweetness, I think, shone through, and also his anxiety about not knowing all his lines and searching for the teleprompter, as many people did, resulted in the audience feeling differently about him than perhaps was intended. And so there was this great following that he had of people that were devoted to him and not always scared by him. They cared about him. Clarice Blackburn was a wonderful, wonderful character actress, and I think I admired her acting more than anybody's, and there were some very good actors in the cast, but I think it must have been her theatrical training, but there was a depth, and yet she was a character actress, and she was so solid and so focused in what she was doing. She would never have cracked up, no matter what happened, and she really was an inspiration for a young actress. And she was in this movie, Pretty Poison, afterwards, and she was so good in that. But I don't think she ever really got the acclaim. I think she was known in the acting community as a very fine actress, but I'm sorry that she didn't get more recognition because she was great. Thayer David I got to know because he locked me up as Morgan, Matthew Morgan, locked up Victoria or had me trapped somewhere for weeks. And so we only worked together because I was his prisoner, and we got to know each other. And Thayer he was quite a character. He was very erudite. He'd gone to Harvard. He knew all kinds of things. And he was very witty, very well read. And I'm not quite sure, because of that, I guess those times together we became friends. I don't think we ever might have had that opportunity, and also because I forgot my lines once and he really saved my neck. And so I was devoted to him for that. But he was very eccentric. He was a recovering alcoholic, but I don't think he ever slipped. He was also, like Clarice, very professional. A very focused actor. And I saw him, they did a musical of Breakfast at Tiffany's that was very short-lived, and he played Rusty Trawler. And I helped him with his Long Island lockjaw accent, and that was fun. And he was great in that. I'm probably one of the few people who saw that show, because I think it closed on opening night. But he could play sinister very well, and they said he was the Laird Krieger of our times then. But he had a dark side to him. But I was really fond of him. I was so glad to be locked wherever that chamber was, or I was locked, and I got to know him. Mitch was, I really liked working with Mitch a lot. I liked him a lot as a human being. And sometimes we go, there was a bar up on the corner, we'd go up and have a drink after work and got to know each other a little bit. And he was an interesting man. And I trusted him. That was another thing that was really important in a show with the pressures of Dark Shadows, was being able to trust the person that you were working with. And somehow Mitch there was something that I felt I could rely on him. And he had a lot of humanity. There was something I really cared about. Joan Bennett became a second mother to me. She was, first off, somebody that was inspiring, because she had it all. She was beautiful, she was intelligent, she was funny, but she also, despite having been a great star, was so professional and didn't have an ego, didn't make demands. She was punctual. She had this funny little dressing room on the soundstage. She didn't, I guess it was the best that they could give her, but it wasn't great. She always knew her lines. She could be sardonic about things, but that never affected her work. She was smart enough to know that you know, that she was a professional. She wanted to look good and do the best by the show, and she did. But she also, I was so lucky getting to know her as a friend, and this friendship lasted until she died. And she was so loyal, so non-judgmental, just always there, and really cared about her family, but also included other people. She had an extended family, and included some of us from Dark Shadows in that family, which was a real privilege.